Good morning and welcome to the Knit Shift episode 105. My name is Laura and today is Monday, April 16th, 2018. Happy Monday, happy Patriots Day, happy Emancipation Day, happy Boston Marathon Day, happy everything. I am hoping that you have a great day. I am here with my I need a little Monday motivation, my Be Awesome Today mug. I'm drinking some chai tea from the tea shop back in Virginia Beach that I miss very much, called Quinton's. It smells so good. It's still probably a little too hot to drink, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Yeah, that's still pretty hot. So welcome. If you are new to the Knit Shift, it is the Knit Shift because I am a journalist who works the night shift. I am Laura, like I said. I live in the DC suburbs with my boyfriend Josh and our Cocker Spaniel Gracie, and a lot of yarn and a lot of knitting projects and crochet projects, and I am thrilled that you're with me today. I've kind of not been making episodes quite as frequently as I have in the past. Life has been a little bit of a curveball here and there. My new job that I started almost 8 months ago, which is bonkers. Actually, it's 8 months ago. Yeah, it's already 8 months ago. So this first year of my new job is flying. I couldn't be happier here, but it does make me sad that I have not been able to record quite as frequently for you guys. So I apologize for that. I can't say it'll change, but I am really happy here. It's not that I was unhappy in my old home, but I am so I'm so fulfilled at my job and loving my life here that I just haven't had as much time to record, and I know you guys will understand because that's a good problem to have. I feel very fortunate. So the other reason I haven't recorded in the past month is I've been in a tiny bit of a knitting funk, I have to admit. And I'll talk more about that later when I talk about my whips, but it's been a little bit of a mental hurdle to finish some projects lately, so we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Anyway, again, thank you for being with me today, whether you have hung out with me before for 104 previous episodes, or 5 episodes, or 1 episode. And if this is your first visit to the Knit Shift, thank you so much, and I hope this isn't too disjointed because I feel a little bit rusty because it's been almost a month. This episode is available on iTunes and YouTube and will be embedded with show notes at the blog, theknitshift.com. If you are watching this on iTunes or if you went to the blog, you will have missed a YouTube exclusive video I produced a couple weeks ago. Josh and I went to the Cherry Blossom Kite Festival in DC because it's cherry blossom season here. Well, it's waning now, winding down a bit, but I put together a little video of Josh's and my adventure out in DC for the Cherry Blossom Kite Festival. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous Saturday, and if I have my act together, I will include some footage with this episode of me visiting the cherry blossoms around the tidal basin, which I did, I think, a week ago? A little over a week ago, about 10 days ago, during peak cherry blossom time. So that's another reason I didn't record last week. I spent a day tromping around DC and looking at cherry blossoms, so that was wonderful. So yeah, I am on Instagram as Laura Mahalski. I'm on Ravelry's Yarnstormer, and we do have a group for the podcast. If you search for the Knit Shift, you will definitely find us. No knit-alongs going on right now, hoping to find something that can kick off in a few weeks or in a month or two to kind of maybe celebrate summer, so stay tuned for that. So this episode I have a few works in progress to share with you and a little bit of life chat. Oh, and before I forget, 2 yarn related events are coming up in the DC area and I plan on attending both of them. I am going to be at Maryland Sheep and Wool the first weekend in May. I think that is May 5th, Saturday, May 5th. I will be there Saturday, which is always the crazier day. And then on about a month later, I plan on going to the Frederick Fiber Fest in Frederick, Maryland, which is on Saturday, June 2nd. That's the day I would be there. So if you'll be there and you see me, please say hello. I will probably have some Knit Shift pins to hand out, so if you see me, please stop me. I am thrilled that now Maryland Sheep and Wool is local to me. I am already crossing my fingers that the weather will be nice, like 60 degrees and sunny or 60 degrees and cloudy would be amazing in my opinion, so let's just hope it's not a crazy hot day, okay? Oh, that's so good. I'm not normally a morning caffeine person. I don't need coffee to get going. But some mornings, like a morning today when I spilled half of my Cheerios because I just was clumsy putting the gallon of milk down, that's how you know you need a little caffeine, when you're just struggling to function a little bit. All right, well, let's talk about works in progress. Let's talk about the work in progress that has been the sticking point for me. I'm like a half hour away from having a finished pair of socks, and I have been for like 2 weeks. So these are Opal Rendezvous socks. This yarn was a gift from my friend Casey. I think I had just started sock number 2 when I recorded a month ago. Possibly. Again, it's rough when you record once a month and you don't put progress keepers in. How do you know where you are? So I am on the afterthought heel of sock number 2. I have but, you know, a half hour of knitting and then I'm done. I think that this afterthought heel is just, it's like a mental hurdle to me. It's in my brain, it will take longer than it will, and then I just put it aside and I'm not doing it because it's not something I know through my innate memory yet, you know, like a fish lips kiss heel or a heel flap and gusset that I could do in my sleep. Because I don't have the muscle memory for this afterthought heel, that is what is delaying me. The other thing that's been delaying me with this project is these are some, not knit picks, they're Carbons needles. I don't know the maker offhand and I don't want to say the wrong company. I love these Carbons needles. They're really lightweight, but the tip of this needle is really not, it's not smooth. Like, see how my finger keeps getting caught on it? This is not a smooth join at all, and it's really making the process unpleasurable for me. You can kind of see on this side of the needle, not this side, but this side, you can kind of see the lip that's kind of the overhang here. And it's just, it's really not fun, and I don't know what to do about it. I think I just have to chalk it up to a needle that's not that great and maybe just toss it. I can't take it back. You know, my local yarn shop doesn't do exchanges on accessories, but maybe I'll get in touch with the company. I don't know, but it is really disappointing that my socks keep getting caught on this tip of this needle here where the metal hits the shaft. So that's a real bummer. That being said, I really am happy with these socks, especially when I see it here and it's all of its glory on the sock blocker. Again, this is Opal Rendezvous. The colorway is 2067. I'm using size 1 needles, and this is my traditional typical sock pattern. I think I cast on 36 at the toe using Judy's Magic Cast On. I increased every 3rd round to probably 68 stitches, maybe 64. Carried on up the foot. I put in waist yarn for the this is the Smooth Operator heel by Susan B. Anderson. Carried on up the leg, did 2x2 ribbing for quite some time, did Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, and then I did the afterthought heel. On the first heel, let me take it off this so you can see it. I might have mentioned this a month ago. I really goofed the first heel, and I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but this side is, one of the sides is, yeah, is a lot, it's rather, they're not even, these decreases. I did not do a great job of making sure I did the decreases right. So like this is a much steeper, a much more shallow incline than this. This is kind of short and sweet. So the heel's a little wonky. It fits okay. I'm not gonna rip it out for this. I mean, there's no point in it for me. It'll still fit my heel, but it was a lesson learned to make sure you do the decreases properly because I wasn't leaving enough space. I wasn't doing a full round of plain knitting in between the rounds. The tricky thing about this heel is I did a center double decrease on each side of the heel. And to do that, you have to kind of do a little bit of manipulating of stitches from one side to the other, from one needle, from the back of the foot to the next needle, and that's where I really goofed. So I'm trying to do a better job of it here. So far so good, though I don't remember right now where I am in the, yeah, already it looks better. You can see it's a bit more even, so Now the real question is, will this be a really big heel? Because this heel feels kind of tiny, but we'll see. This is my first pair of socks with the Smooth Operator sock heel, so if nothing else, it's good practice. So yeah, I've had that second sock languishing for weeks, and I'm dying to get it done, but I have no motivation to get it done. So the only person I can blame is myself. All right, what's next? I have 2 more whips to share with you. Oh, that tea is so good. Right when it gets to the sweet spot where it's like nice and warm, but like not gonna burn your mouth off. Oh, that's the life. Amazing. So I'll next show you my commute project. I am almost done with a new sock. I am carrying this in a Bink Waffle bag, and I have these great pins on it. This is my Through With People pin. I don't remember who makes this, but I got it at my local yarn shop, Fiberspace, and then this says Embrace Hope, which I think is a nice motto, and I love the crazy colors on it. I got this at Penzi Spices when I did a shopping trip a couple weeks ago. So I am obsessed with this sock. Whereas my mojo is very limited on the other sock, this sock is going much better. So this is Online Super Sock. Let me pull up my notes here. Online Super Sock Desert Color, colorway 1856. It's this lovely plied yarn that gives you this lovely marled, almost hand spun effect. I'm obsessed with it. I love this so much. I got this on like super clearance, probably from littleknits.com a few years ago, and I've been dying to use it since because this is what it looks like in the cake. And isn't that gorgeous? Like, don't you just want to cast that on immediately? So I love this. I'm also going to be doing an afterthought heel, a Smooth Operator sock heel on this. You can see my waist yarn right here. And I'm probably just about ready to start the cuff. I'm gonna probably weigh my yarn after this because this feels like I probably could go a whole nother repeat, and I might make these really tall. And then I could use other yarn for the heel. And I could even use other yarn for the cuff too if I really got crazy. So this progress keeper is on here to mark the start of the leg of the sock. Although, of course, you can also count the number of rows on the leg by counting above your waist yarn. So yeah, these are size 0 needles, trusty Chiaogus, love them. And this is again my typical sock pattern. I think I cast on 36 and I went up to 68 stitches. I'm finding that I often do 68 stitches when I use a size 0 needle. When I use a size 1 needle, I often use 64 or 68. But when I use a size 0, this is definitely a 68 stitch sock. So loving the little kind of baby stripes we have going on here, whereas like the yellow, the yellow and the peachy orange, those are thicker stripes. So loving this, flying on it, cannot wait to cast on the mate. And I think to become better at the afterthought heel, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knit both socks and then tackle the heels back to back. And that'll kind of reinforce in my brain what I need to be doing to make the heels better. And last but not least, I have, brace yourselves, a crochet project to share with you. I have a coworker who is a friend, and she's getting married in October, and she's not a knitter, so I doubt she watches this, and I doubt any coworkers watch this really. But I am knitting her a blanket as a wedding gift. I don't think Josh and I are invited to the wedding, but I don't think we're gonna go. It's out of town, and it's the week before Rhinebeck, which I already have plans to attend. So I think to make myself feel better about missing the wedding, I'm gonna knit her this gorgeous blanket. Let me change out my battery because my battery's gonna die. Okay, I'm back. So again, I am knitting this, I'm crocheting this as a wedding gift because she's a dear friend. I love the idea of making blankets for people when they get married. It's something my mom often does with quilts for family members, for my cousins, and this girl is a dear friend of mine, and I just think it'd be a really nice gift, especially because I feel bad about very likely not attending her wedding. So I went to Michaels, armed with a 20% off your entire purchase coupon, and stocked up on some Caron Simply Soft. So I played this really well because we were talking about decorating, and I casually asked her what color their bedroom was and like what their color scheme was and how big their bed was. And so she only has a double bed. And so I was determined not to make this blanket too big. I thought, Laura, make it the size of their bed. It'll go faster. You'll be happier if you keep it the right size. I really did try to keep it to a full-size bed when I did the starter chain. But then, you know, once you get going, it like grows in width a little bit from your starter chain. So I put it on Josh's and my bed, which is a queen size bed. It definitely fits a queen size bed. But I'm okay with it because it's far better to have a way too big blanket than it is to have a blanket that's too small. So I'm rolling with it. So I am doing a ripple pattern from the book by Jan Eaton. I think it's called 200 ripple patterns for crochet and knit. And I'm using the number 6 soft waves, which is like a very classic soft ripple. And so their bedroom is gray and white with pops of yellow. So I'm doing a gray and white blanket. And let's see if I can show you just how big this is and not dip the blanket in my tea. So we start here, keep going, and we're done. So this entire thing, here's the whole blanket and the width. So I have this lovely dark gray, and I'm using white, of course. And then I got this lovely cornflower yellow to kind of do a couple pops, sections of yellow as a pop. I'm loving it. In fact, this is what I have definitely knit on. I'm gonna keep saying knit because I just knit so much. This is definitely what I've crocheted on, I've worked on the most over the past few weeks, because this one section of gray took about 1.2 skeins of yarn. And I have 9 gray, well, I had 9 gray. I bought 9 gray, 9 white, and 2 yellow, and I'm confident that this will give me a 6-foot tall blanket. I might go back for a little more yarn. Once I do like the first full section that's, you know, doesn't include the chain edge like the gray, once I finish the white, I'm gonna see how much yarn that uses and do a little math and make sure I have enough. So yeah, I'm using a size 5, an H8 5mm hook. Nothing fancy, it's like the Susan Boy variety. Yeah, that's all there is to it. This is definitely what I've picked up at home when I'm watching TV and I want to pass the time. This is what I am reaching for immediately. And again, they're getting married in October. I am confident I will get this done before then. Famous last words, I know. But I love Caron Simply Soft for blankets. It is indeed simply soft. It wears well. I've made blankets out of it before and really love it. So I hope they love it too. And that is it for my works in progress. I think I'll do a little bit of life chat here, so if you don't really care about that, I'll see you next time. So yeah, let me pull up my notes because I've been dashing down some things to talk to you about. So yes, I wanted to make a movie recommendation. Josh and I went to see A Quiet Place last weekend. It's the thriller movie by John Krasinski of The Office. It stars him and his wife, Emily Blunt. It is a scary movie, and I know some people just shut down immediately and say, I don't do scary movies, and I completely understand that. I don't especially do scary movies, but I really wanted to see this because it sounded like more of a thriller, and I do love a thriller. And you guys, I can't tell you how good this movie is. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. There aren't a lot of loud scares, I would say. I mean, there's some, but you know they're coming. The whole premise of the movie is it's kind of a post-apocalyptic time, and you're probably rolling your eyes like that's every movie anymore, I know. But the premise is there are these monsters that hunt based on sound. So humans have to live a life in silence. The family has a deaf child and they communicate in sign language, which I have a feeling they would have been learning to do even if they didn't have a deaf child. And the dad is like an amazing, he's prepared the family amazingly for this. Anyway, it's a really good movie. It's 90 minutes. It's like a tight 90 minutes. Like it's over and you're like, holy crap, that movie flew. Like you can't believe how tightly put together it is. So I can't recommend it enough, even if you aren't a horror movie buff. It's not so much a horror movie as it is a thriller. I can't stress that enough. So please go see it if you're on the fence. Let's see. Yeah, it's been a busy couple weeks, even with no podcasting. Last weekend, cherry blossoms were kind of at their peak. So last Friday, I took the metro. I didn't sleep well Thursday night, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna get up and go for a walk and see the cherry blossoms at the tidal basin. So that's what I did. I got on the train, got on the metro. I went to Arlington National Cemetery, and I got off there. And I walked across the Memorial Bridge into DC. It's a really long walk, but it was amazing. There were all sorts of runners in army gear, like army PE shirts. There are military bases right there. You know, the Pentagon's nearby. There were just clearly active duty army folks. Might have even been some ROTC students from George Washington, which is right across the river. It was a really nice walk. It was a gray day, windy day, but that's kind of my preferred weather for this kind of thing. Walked around the tidal basin, looked at the blossoms, which was amazing. Doing it before like 9 a.m. was really smart because it just kept getting more and more crowded as the morning went on. I'm so glad I did it. I don't know that I'll do it every year I live here, but I'm so glad that I went to see the cherry blossoms around the tidal basin at their peak, because it really is kind of magical. Before cherry blossom season, I was kind of rolling my eyes like, okay, whatever, they're trees. How great can they be? But they're actually really beautiful, and the fact that they are only there and in bloom for like a week or two makes them even more special. So I really enjoyed it, and I would absolutely go back in a heartbeat. What else have I been up to? I don't think I shared this last time because I don't think this had happened yet. No, it had not happened yet. So Hamilton is coming to the Kennedy Center in this summer and through the fall. Like, it's here forever. And I bought tickets. I did not do, they had a program set up where you could join the Kennedy Center, become a member, and it would give you early access to tickets. I did not do that. I really did it on a lark, the day they went on sale to the public. Basically, the way the public sales worked was the tickets went on sale at 8 a.m. and you log on at 8 a.m. and you join a waiting room where you're put in random order in like a virtual line. And it keeps you updated on the screen of where you are in line, that kind of thing. So I didn't do that. I didn't get up early. I got up and I don't know, I went to the gym or whatever, and I went into work, and the guy that sits next to me was copy editing a story about the first day of ticket sales to the general public. And I was like, oh yeah, that was today. I think I'm gonna log on just to see like the kind of wait people had, because some of my coworkers had logged on at 8 a.m. and like by 3 o'clock they were able to buy tickets. So 7 hours of waiting online. So I thought, I'm gonna just log on and see. Here it is like 3:30, 4 o'clock. I'm gonna log on and see where I end up. So I log on and I am the 121,000th person in line. But there were only about 65,000 people in front of me still active, which means like the other 55,000 people had already been helped or got out of line. So I had 65,000 people in front of me the minute I joined the line waiting to buy tickets. So I just kept it on my screen all night at work, and the number kept getting smaller. Like, there are 55,000 people in front of you, 54,000, you know, and it went down by the hundreds. It was constantly updating and refreshing. So by like 9 o'clock, I thought, this is gonna happen tonight. I'm gonna be at the front of the line before I leave here, because I was done around 11 o'clock. So I decided that I had talked it over with coworkers the whole night, and I was like, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. And like, I was justifying, I was like, I'm not paying them for the most expensive seats because they're $625. That's insane. I don't have that kind of money. I don't wanna spend that kind of money. Heck no. But I was ready to justify just about every other price point. But of course I wanted the cheapest tickets, and I was like ready to buy seats that were on different sides of the auditorium so that Josh and I could go. We just wouldn't sit together, but we'd both get to go. And you know, I was like, well then maybe I'll just buy a ticket for myself, because Josh likes Hamilton, but he's not obsessed with it, and I'm not obsessed with it. I've listened to like the first 10 songs on the soundtrack and I know them well because that's just what I listen to on repeat, but I've never listened to the whole show. So I'm not a super fan, so that's why I was so like meh about the whole thing. So I finally get to the, and you only have 10 minutes to buy tickets. Once you're in the system, once you're actually at the front of the line, you have literally 10 minutes to buy tickets. So I was like feeling the pressure. This was like a yarn sale, like with a unicorn dyer that no one can get their hands on. This was like that, times a million, with the stakes being a lot more expensive. So I get to the front of the line and immediately start clicking around to Friday and Saturday performances because those are my days off work. And you can choose based on the seating chart. And I very quickly see that the cheapest tickets, there might be 1 or 2 seats left for each performance, and they're like way in the very back corner of the Kennedy Center, like nosebleed way on the ends. And I was like, well, I could do that. And then after like, so then I was ready to buy 2 seats that were on different sides of the auditorium, and when I went to pay for them, someone stole them out from under me in my cart. And then I panicked and I was like, oh God. So I look on the orchestra level, which are the most expensive and then the next step down. And I found 2 seats together, rear orchestra. In fact, I think it was like stage left. The front row of like a second section, like, you know how there'll be like A through Z and then there's like AA, BB. We are in BB, but BB looks to be the front row of the next section. And we're on the aisle seat, which I love an aisle seat. So I found, and they were 2 seats together. And so I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm buying these tickets. So I bought them, I put it on a credit card. I am already halfway done paying it off. I regret nothing. And in fact, it is very possible that I will have an out-of-town guest coming to the show with me versus Josh. Josh very generously said I could bring someone else. Who that person is a little bit in flux, so I won't say any more than that, but so we're going in July 21st, I think. Yeah, July 21st, and I am so excited. I feel like I have to take advantage of it while it's here because this show, I mean, going to it in New York is next to impossible. So this is the way I will be able to see it, and I'm super excited to see it in DC, the nation's capital, all that kind of stuff. So I'm very, very excited. So that's my Hamilton story. Josh and I are planning to go to some baseball games in the next few weeks before it gets too hot out. We are going to go to a Nationals game, perhaps the weekend of Maryland Sheep and Wool. We are planning perhaps to go to an Orioles game next Saturday, and we might even take public transit all the way to Baltimore. We can get to Camden Yards through DC subway to a MARC train to Baltimore, and then we can get on light rail in downtown Baltimore and go to the stadium. So that would be pretty awesome to get to not have to drive to Baltimore and deal with parking, because Camden Yard, it's not like there's not a ton of parking right at the stadium, so it can be kind of a pain. So that would be really exciting to not have to deal with that. And yeah, work has been amazing. I'm so happy in this job, you guys. I can't even explain it, and there's a lot I can't even talk about with work if I could, but I just love my job so much, and I am getting trusted with various tasks that are important. I get to, I've become like a go-to person at night to edit the news alerts. So like if there's breaking news at night, if you have an iPhone and you get like a push alert from the Post, I might have edited that text. It could be me or any number of people, but I've kind of become a go-to person for those. I'm really, really happy. My coworkers are amazing. I couldn't be happier about making this move. It's just dealing with a lot of stuff that I can't really talk about. So just suffice to say, I am thrilled to be here and I'm loving my job. And today is the Pulitzer Prize is the top prize in journalism, and there's about, I don't know, 15 different prizes for different categories. They are announced today at 3 p.m. online, and I would imagine the Post is in contention for some. So my old newsroom, we were finalists for a Pulitzer twice while I was there, and that was a very big deal. We did not win, but it was a great big deal to be a finalist. But I've never been in a newsroom that won a Pulitzer, so we'll see if the Post wins any today, which would be amazing to be there for that announcement. And I don't even know if there is any announcement. I don't know how it works, but I'm gonna go into work a little early to make sure I'm there by 3 o'clock when the awards are announced, because that's not something I want to miss. So yeah, I think that's about it for me today, you guys. I hope to be back in a couple weeks. I don't know if I'll be back before Maryland Sheep and Wool. I will try to be. But yeah, so until next time, happy knitting, crochet, all that good stuff, and I'll see you soon. Bye.